Let's get drunk at the director's garage.
Hey everybody. Welcome to the live show, the live stream that it is, the Humpday Happy Hour Hangout here at the Director's Garage. I'm your host and resident idiot, Michael, and we got the LCD-4. The LCD-4. This is a headphone I would sell for the right price. I think I was asking $2,100. That would get a deal done. What I like about this one, though, the guy who owned these before put on thicker pads, so it's a little more comfortable, and it's got a thicker, wider top band on them, which I really enjoy. I think that this distributes the weight better. They don't feel quite as heavy on the head, but I really like the set. I just, kind of got to move some product at some point and do something. Do something to advance the cause. Why am I here so late? Well, let's do a couple of updates. Mrs. Director's birthday is today, so I was running her all around the town today, and I took her for a massage and just did some husbandy kind of things that keep the home fires burning. So, just being the good guy kind of thing, did that today. So that's why I didn't know if I'd have time today to do a live stream. And then it turns out she's going to go to dance class tonight. So as long as she's going to dance class, I'm like, I'll just go online for like an hour or whatever. I have no agenda today. I have nothing really audio related to talk about. This week was dominated by, so I showed a video last Friday of something I shot on the house. And Holly's running around. He's now tearing up my office with his claws. That's what that rumbling sound is. It's not thunder, it's Howley. If it's not thunder, it's Howley. This week, last week I had done that video and I just completed it, and I thought, maybe I could do some of that, like some real estate videos in Tennessee when we get there. Or maybe I could market myself that way here until we leave. Like maybe I can pick up some work doing real estate videos. And I thought, but to do it right, I really need to be able to get that drone shot over the house. And I started looking into it. I'm like, well, you got to have this drone license thing. So on Saturday, I started looking up drone tests for the Part 107 exam. It's an FAA test that you have to take, Federal Aviation Administration. So I started looking up all of what goes into getting a Part 107A license, which is great. I'm like, I just started and you got to learn how to read. I don't even have any examples of it. You have to learn how to read charts and maps that the FAA sends out. And so there's these maps with circles around airports, and you got to know what all the circles mean, what the colors mean, what the dotted lines around the airports mean, what the different fractions that are in some of the airspaces mean, what the numbers on the charts mean, how to read longitude and latitude, some weather information. You have to be able to read a METAR, which is this long string of letters and numbers that tell you weather information, and they want you to be able to do basic pilot stuff, have some basic pilot skills before they let you loose into the skies with a FAA license. And you need to have this license to legally fly a drone commercially, meaning you get paid for taking shots of something for somebody else, an exchange of goods or money. That is a requirement, regardless if they do have a limit. Like if you have a drone that is 250 grams or 0.55 pounds or less, you don't have to register the drone, and you don't have to have a pilot's license to fly it. It's to give hobbyists a break from having to take a big formal test just to set their small drone up in the air, because they figure that these lighter drones can't really cause that much damage if they fall out of the sky. But if the second that you're going to take money for shooting with a drone, you're required to have a license. So I just crammed. And part of, I had a little bit of a head start because about 20 years ago, I flirted with the idea of getting a private pilot's license. So I kind of started doing all of this stuff. So I kind of had like a little bit of a head start on it. But I just went through Sunday, and Saturday night I decided, I looked up and I saw that there were apps you can put on your phone that will send you sample questions from a potential FAA test. So I took 4 of them and I passed them all with just a few hours of studying. And I'm like, oh, I can go do this. So I looked up and there was a test Monday across town in a kind of out of the way place called Pacoima, and they have an FAA testing facility. And so I scheduled the test. It cost $175, and I'm like, I'll just go take it Monday. And I showed up a little bit late Monday, and the guy was kind of pissed at me, but I got in. He sat me down at the computer and I went through it. 60 questions. And they give you a book along with it, and you've got to look up the charts that they're referring to, and what does this mean, and when they have like a graph of the G-forces pulled and what it means for weight on the aircraft and stress on an aircraft, and you got to answer questions like that. So you're looking up charts and you're looking up graphs and data and stuff, and then some of the stuff you just have to know, like what is high density, what the effect does high density altitude have on your vehicle, that kind of thing. Anyway, passed my test, folks. This is my temporary drone pilot's license. I took the test, and 2 hours later, I had myself a drone pilot's license. So that was Monday. So then after Monday, I'm like, well, I don't have a drone because I sold my drone years ago. It was I had a DJI Mavic, one of the originals. And one of the problems with that drone was that it didn't have the sensors. It had sensors in front of it, so you couldn't fly head on into a tree. But if you backed up, you're out of luck. There's no sensors. So, you just got to know what you're doing. And I didn't. I was a new novice driver, and I just crashed the thing like 3 times. And I'm like, after that, I was like, I'm kind of over this. But now the drones come with like all these sensors on it. Problem is, the ones with all the sensors and the fancy stuff is made by a company called DJI. And this will sort of wrap into the audio discussion in a few minutes. And DJI has been facing the same, they're a company based out of China, and they're having the same problems that many Chinese manufacturers of other things like audio gear are facing. And that's a relatively hostile U.S. market because of the tariffs and the threats of tariffs and all this stuff. So I went online to buy a DJI drone. I was just going to get kind of a more like entry-level sort of thing. And they're sold out everywhere. And DJI is not selling them to the States. And it turns out that a week ago, this is the way our life is working right now. It's like everything is like this much off. Like just this much off. And a week ago, DJI pulled all of their products from the U.S. market. And they said, we're not selling anything in the U.S. market for the foreseeable future. So I had to go around to try and find a drone so that if I decide to start, if I want to practice and if I want to start running through the modes and stuff and learning and having some sort of thing set up so that if a realtor contacts me, which I'm going to start marketing after the 4th, I'm going to send out this video and say, hey, if you want the video that I made that I showed you guys, if you want this done on your property, call me and we'll make an arrangement. And I'll charge them like, I don't know, $500-$700 or something, and I'll make this nice video for them to sell their house, their product, which is a good time because there is so much on the market right now. The market is saturated. It's part of the reason we can't sell our house is the volume on the market right now is bananas. We're up like, I don't know, like 20-some%, I think, on volume on the market. So very interesting time, and a lot of things are changing and shifting. But I did get a drone. It's going to be on the way. It'll be here next week, so I'll start flying that and trying to get comfortable with it. But I'm also going to try and market that video that I made to other realtors in the LA area and see if maybe that can be a viable. I need something to get some income going so that we we can have some breathing space, because this may take us 4 or 5 months to sell this house the way things are looking. Inventory is sitting on the market. We're at the right price. That much I'm confident of. Given what our house is, where it is, the view, the stuff, no problem on the price. The price is dead on. We just don't have buyers right now. Buyers are freaked out. Most of it is interest rate related, all this stuff. So these are the hassles that I'm going through. And it's Mrs. Director's birthday today, which is why I just found a little bit of time in my afternoon. I hate not being able to connect with you folks and put something out for you every week. I know I haven't been doing like formal videos. I've got plans for a formal video. I've got one about 90% written. I've got to tweak it and get the rest of the video written. It's sort of like laid out. It's going to be a shootout between, I don't have them, I put them away because we had an open house on Sunday. We had 2 visitors Sunday, which makes our total visitors in our entire time doing 4 open houses. We've had 3 visitors now. That's how bad the LA market is. Nobody is looking for houses. But some stuff is closing, so it gives me hope that there's something out there. We just have to connect with the right buyer. Somebody has to see this house and see what we saw in it and want to buy it. Anyway, so my next video will be the shootout between the long-awaited shootout between the Carbon 2 and the SRX 9000 from Stax. The loser of that, I'm going to tease that now live. The loser of that shootout will be sold. Ooh, spicy. But I like doing spicy things. So I'm going to sell one of the 2 headphones, depending on how it all comes out. I've started writing it. It's written. It's going to be a long video. I've got it over 30 minutes here, I think. I'm just looking at the script now. But it's not done. It doesn't have the director's garage flair in it yet. And I've got to write that stuff in, as I like to do. Because I don't want to make... Who wants to make an ordinary video? I don't want to make an ordinary video. I want to make a fun video that you guys enjoy, that has a certain feel to it, has a certain style to it, something that, you will enjoy. So that's the goal. That's the goal. And I'm hoping to get that finished up in the next few days. We'll see. Mrs. Director is off work for a few days. We haven't had time together in a while. So I am going to take her places. We're going to go see a ghost town this weekend. We're going to go out to a place called Bodie. It's a ghost town out in the middle of the desert, which I'm thrilled with. I wish I had the drone for that. That would have been fun. Fly a drone through a ghost town. How great would that be? But I'm going to be continuing doing some listening at night and finish up the notes on it and on the Carbon 2 X9000 shootout, and then hopefully get shooting sometime next week. And then I'd get it into post and get it out to you guys. So we're probably within a week or 2 of you getting that video, which I'm excited about. It's good to get back in the saddle and exercise the creative juices. I miss doing that stuff. It's fun to do. Holly's coming back in. He went outside because he doesn't like it when I'm making noise here and talking. Nobody likes to hear me talk, guys. Nobody likes to hear me talk. So if you have questions or anything, I have nothing for today. Nobody sent me videos or photos from the past week, I don't think. I'll take a look real quick, but I think we spent everything on Friday. I showed a bunch of stuff. I don't have anything new. We showed Zhong's system last Friday, and that's pretty much all I've got. You know what? I don't know if I showed this system. A viewer named Adel sent me something. I'm going to show that off. That's what we're going to do today. We're going to look at a viewer system that I don't think I showed off, and it's a headphone that I have not heard or seen in person. So let's see if we can. Did I do this? Maybe I showed this off already. Oh, who cares? You know what? Let's just go for broke, and I'll. If you've seen it already, well then I'm sorry. So I'm going to send that over to the laptop of death, and then we can take a look at it in a little bit. But get your questions in, get your comments in. Is there any music that you guys have been listening to? I will be quite honest with you. I have been listening to a lot of Van Halen lately. I don't know what's the cause of this. I'm not like a metalhead, and I'm not like, I just for some reason have just like wanted to go back and appreciate the greatness of some guitarists from my generation, which would be, although he's a little bit older than me, but Prince and great guitarists, Prince and Eddie Van Halen, and just some of those contemporaries. I've been sort of listening to those, and a lot of Van Halen lately. It's just something I'm kind of into for whatever reason. So I need to go to, let's go to AirDrop, and then I need to open up another browser. Sorry, guys, I got to do this live. I should have prepped for this, but honestly, I didn't know I was going to have time until about 10 minutes ago. So I just put out a thing that said, hey, I'm going live. So let's go live. And why not? And then we'll just, we'll see what happens. And then I can, you know, if you have time this weekend or the rest of the week, and because I know it's a holiday coming up and everybody's got shit to do, I thought, well, hell with it. You know, let's throw something out for the world to check out if they want to. But yeah, I went back and I've been listening to a lot of music. I listened to Van Halen Women and Children First. That will feature on in the next video for sure. And I listened to Fair Warning and in 1984, of course, which was that spectacular, more pop album in Van Halen's lane. And just going back and checking out some classic stuff, and I just wanted to. Eddie Van Halen changed the guitar so much, and it's not that he invented anything new. There were people who were doing the tapping and the fast playing and stuff before him, but nobody had coalesced it all into a style until Eddie Van Halen. And he was really, like, the generation before me had Eric Clapton, they had Jimi Hendrix, certainly, probably the greatest guitar players of all time. I don't think many people would argue with that. They had Jimmy Page, certainly, Jeff Beck, you know, great guitarists. Pete Townsend, he was a rhythm guitar player, but he still had chops. Certainly David Gilmour. My generation, like, it was coming along, like, all of a sudden we just had, you know, we had some metal and some players, but Eddie was like the first great from my generation. Because I consider even Joe Perry was kind of a little bit before my time. Not that I didn't love Aerosmith growing up, I certainly did. Cheers, everybody. It's happy hour in LA. So we're in a later happy hour hangout today. But I really enjoyed Eddie, and then after him, the other great guitarist that came in my generation was Stevie Ray Vaughan. And Stevie just captivated me because he was playing Hendrix, but he was playing it with his own flair. And then he developed his own music out of sort of that Hendrix style. And I totally appreciate him. He was one of my he was definitely my favorite guitarist of the 80s, personally. And then I think later, I mean, I enjoyed Prince's music, but I never appreciated him as a guitar player until later. I think it wasn't until really the 90s that I really went back to that. And I was not a fan of grunge, mind you, in the 90s. I did not jump into jump on the Nirvana, Stone Temple Pilots. I liked some of the songs, but I was not like all in on a band. Like Van Halen was a band like that. You were just into the band. And I saw them live in 1980. I want to say it was 86. It was on the 5150 tour, and 5150 had come out, and they were doing a U.S. tour, and they played Carbondale in their little 10,000 seat arena. Or 7,000 seat arena, the SIU arena, and it's such a small place that they actually had to consult. I remember hearing that they had to consult with the engineer on the building to find out if their lighting if the roof of the building could support their lighting truss. it so much. And that was the loudest concert I've ever experienced, and my ears literally rang for 3 days after that concert. And it was the first one with Sammy Hagar, and it was amazing. It was amazing. It was one of the great like moment concerts. I've seen a few of those, but that was like, whoa, Van Halen, and I played Southern Illinois University. I was like, that was the best. It was the best. It was so great. And back then I wasn't even into, I mean, I was into Van Halen, but I was more, the focus back then for me was like the new wave and the alt rock. Like I was so into REM and the Replacements, and even like some of the more offbeat bands like Husker Du and Ministry. Obviously I've talked about Ministry before, but Ministry, just loved like the alt rock and the more fringy scene, and I did not like grunge when grunge came in. Hair metal, like I could take it or leave it. It was good for a party or whatever it was, but I don't think I was into it for like listening. It wasn't something that I would like listen to. Although I have a few metal albums from that era in my collection. I believe I probably have a Cinderella album in there, and I know I have Whitesnake. I had a couple of Whitesnake records, but I thought that like the antidote to the sort of hair metal and the grunge scene was like when the Black Crowes came out, because it was a throwback to roots rock and roll, and I was like, oh, finally somebody's like playing my music again. You know, and I liked Oasis with the neo new wave, British second wave or whatever. I like them too, but you know, it was like I was never into not much into Nirvana. I actually wound up appreciating. I'm just so like me, behind the curve in every way. I liked Nirvana. What got me into Nirvana was the Unplugged album, because I was just like, they were so loud and they were just like, so it was so like screaming and whatever, and I was just like, you know, not really for me. And then I heard the acoustic album and I started appreciating what they were doing melodically, and I'm like, okay, now this is cool. Now I can get into this. And I actually went back and I wound up liking Nirvana a great deal, but it took a long time for me to like get into that, you know. But I still, to this day, I don't own Nevermind. I don't have the record. I don't have the vinyl or anything, because I think that was the era where records were so phasing out. I don't even know if there's a vinyl available of Nevermind back in the day. I mean, it might have been all CD back then, or maybe you might be able to find a cassette. Who knows? All right. Let's do a little bit of chat. We only have a couple of comments in there. I know we're probably not going to get a lot of viewers today because I came on at such an odd time with no notice whatsoever, and bam, here I am. Welcome, America, to the Director's Garage. Live. The live experience. So, Gil Renard in the house. Gil, always good to see you, my friend. Vegan Vicar says, greetings from Manila, everyone. Cheers, my brother. Cheers. Good to see you. And been listening to Horace Silver in small combos. Ooh, good one. I'm going to write that in my notes. Maybe that's something I can listen to. Horace Silver. Very good. Very good. Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay. I'll check that out. Neil says, I think Van Halen's music can best be described as noise. Depends. It depends. There was a melodic quality, and Eddie had a lyrical guitar tone. And what I appreciated about him was, as much as there was the speed of him, and the speed and the technique of tapping, which was around for a while, but it hadn't been popularized, including, like, well, let's face it, once Eddie sort of integrated it into his style, everybody's ripping him off at that point. So much so that David Lee Roth actually told Eddie to turn his back on the audience during the solos when they were just starting out, because they said nobody should be able to see how you're doing this. He goes, that sounds so incredible, nobody should be able to see it. So they were a little protective of their sound. And then I was watching, Randy Rhoads came along, and Randy and Eddie were kind of rivals without a cause, I would say. You know, like they didn't outwardly hate each other, but there was a rivalry there. They were both LA band musicians. Randy was with a group called Quiet Riot back then. Quiet Riot struggled as Van Halen was coming to prominence, and they were both sort of bands that were playing the same local clubs. And I love a good story, and this, you know, even if you don't like the music, the story is good. They were constantly sort of like trying to one up each other or get the bigger gig, be the headliner, all these things. And arguably Randy probably learned tapping from Eddie on the guitar. What I appreciate about Eddie, though, is he played harmonics. He brought harmonics. Certainly Billy Gibbons was playing with harmonics and pitch harmonics for ZZ Top back then. But Eddie took harmonics to another level, and he was using harmonics to sort of create overtones and layers to his guitar playing and music. And he would play with both hands. He would play on the neck, not always tapping. Sometimes he was actually doing pull-offs and stuff, double pull-offs at the same time. But he's also if you hit a guitar string just right on the fret, you will create a harmonic sound, which sounds like a ping. It's almost like a bell being rung. It's not a full note. The way you would normally, you use the fret to hold the string down, so it creates enough tension on the string to produce a tone at a certain frequency, which is a note. You'd play the note, you pluck the string with your finger across the behind the fret, and it turns that string into that note. And when you put multiple strings together at once, you get a chord. For those of you who are unfamiliar with guitar, but you can also, because the strings are strung tight, much like anything that's strung tight, like a bridge that you would drive over, or a string that you would hold out tight. If you excite the string at a certain frequency, it will create a resonance harmonic. And on an electric guitar with a pickup, it comes across as a ping. So certain frets will give you this ping at certain notes. And if you do it just right, Rush was playing around with harmonics a lot. Like Red Barchetta is a song entirely built on harmonics. It's a beautiful song, too. Beautiful song. One of my favorite listening tracks. But Eddie learned how to play harmonic, like a solo of just harmonics, and he would do all sorts of stuff like this. And he performed solos. The other thing he did was he would perform solos using the volume knob. Not original either. The Beatles were one of the first that I remember doing it on. I think it was a song called "I Miss You." Could be wrong, but that was Harrison. I think it was Harrison. I don't think it was Lennon. I think it was Harrison. The way you do it is you'd strum your Rickenbacker back then, and then he would turn the volume knob up, so you wouldn't hear the attack on the note, but you would hear the chord come across, and it almost gives it a violin or harp, almost like you're playing with a bow type quality. And you crank the volume knob open after you've strummed the chord, and it goes, and then you shut it off again before you change and do it again. So it was a technique that was sort of being used off and on, and Pete Townsend played around with it a little bit. Eddie did entire solos on it at a very fast rate. So he would play this. He would play like an arpeggio or a bunch of notes in a row, and he would be quickly modulating the volume knob, open and close. So it would kind of almost sound like a synthesizer, but it wasn't. It was a guitar. It's a very interesting technique. But he did all these things, all these different crazy little things, and that's sort of the genius of Hendrix. Hendrix was playing with the guitar and showing us sounds out of it that we didn't know a guitar could make, and Eddie sort of picked up on that. And the other guy who doesn't get any appreciation, enough appreciation for his guitar work, and I mentioned him earlier in the show, was Prince. Prince was another virtuoso player. I don't think most people realize that Prince, for the most part, through much of his career, played all of the instruments on all of his records in the studio. Back when we had tape, back in the tape days. So they'd record something on track 1, go back, record something on track 2, and like the song When Doves Cry, he used a drum machine to be the drum part, and then he orchestrated all this other stuff over it with synthesizers, and actually wound up. I saw an interview once with his producer who said that Prince recorded the entire song in a day, When Doves Cry, because the director of his movie came to him and said, "We need one more song. We need one more sort of anthem for this movie." Something that you haven't written yet. We need some new piece of music. And said it needs to sort of tie in the emotional context of, you know, your father and your family and the relationship in the movie between the father and the son. And he went back and went, okay, so he went into the studio and in one session produced When Doves Cry. It was written on the spot. It was written in the day and performed, and he recorded all of these tracks for it, like multi-track. You know, he had 24 tracks recorded, maybe even 48 tracks by the mid-'80s. It was 83, I think, 84. 83 probably recorded it. 84, the album came out. But he laid down all of these different tracks and all this stuff. And then he got it into the editing phase where they were mixing it in the studio. And he wound up taking stuff out to make the song better. And he started deconstructing the song. And the engineer's like, God, we just spent all this time, you know, recording all these different tracks, and now he's removing them. And the one thing that song doesn't have, that every song in that era had, is it doesn't have a bass line. Prince cut the bass line out of When Doves Cry, and he did it again on Kiss. There's no bass part, it's just drum. And he says, I think it makes it sound interesting and more and different and unique. And we're going to go. He goes, ain't nobody going to believe I did this. That's what he told his mixing engineer. He worked with women in the mixing room, in the control room. And he just looked at her and said, ain't nobody going to believe I did this. He eliminated the bass, and that's the version that wound up on vinyl. Wound up getting released. But he was a genius guitar player, and all of his writing and his performance sort of made his guitar prowess overlooked. But one of the great guitarists. Anyway, so just talking about 80s guitarists today. That's sort of like that's where my head's been at, and I thought I'd share that with you guys. So let's go take a look at this viewer system. It's not going to be a terribly long live stream today, I don't think, unless you guys come into the chat. Nobody's like commenting, but I only have about 8 people here today. Very light crowd. This is like the club crowd. You know, the polite applause. Crowd. But let's look at this is from Astell, this viewer system, and it's just showing off his headphone that he had got in, and I don't recall showing it on a live stream before, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I showed this. So the first shot we'll go to is well, it's something of a giveaway, but I actually thought it was a different headphone when he sent it to me and I saw this first photo. Let me go to it. Laptop Death, where you at? Maybe we can go look at some stuff that's listed too. That would be kind of fun today. All right. So it's a HiFiman product. You say, interesting, HiFiman. What do they make? Do they make anything? HiFiman was on our last one before the June version, was on our May Hangover Hangout. We had a HiFiman rep in, and that was really cool. All right, so let's go to the next one. Okay. Oh, here we go. No. Hey, calm down there, Mr. Laptop. There we go. So, yeah, This is where'd my thing go? Hang on a second, fellas. So this is the Isvarna from HiFiman. And the reason it looks so, and it's kind of odd because it's semi-open. It's got this open baffle down here, which is supposed to, I think, increase stage and give you a little bit of bass on what should be normally a closed back. But they're really interesting looking headphones. And they're out for a little bit. They're getting some good reviews. And they're not breaking the bank. Let's look at another photo. So there's the port on the bottom of those things. Very interesting different for HiFiman, different look for their headphone. It sort of looks like they're that one line that they came out with, sort of mimicking the Sony, but this has got ports in it. I like that we're outside too. It kind of feels good. So this is like a mid-tier product. So these go about $2,500-ish in that range. And they're a big build. I mean, you look at the construction of this thing. It's not a small headphone at all. You know, you're getting a lot of material there. Here's another look at it. Kind of following the same frame though as the Sapphire and the HE-1000s. Kind of an interesting looking headphone. And I like the yokes. The yokes look like they could have been borrowed from, God, even the Sapphire itself, with it looks like the original Sapphire on the yokes. But very interesting headphone at $2,500. This is Viewer Adel's system, but check this. And kind of an interesting looking product with the very simplistic, but these are very sculpted on the edges. Very beautiful headphone. Unusual, for sure. Not something you would, I mean, I guess it's got a little bit of the HiFiman style in it. It's definitely got, you'd look at these and go, yeah, that's a HiFiman headphone. You know, I don't think you'd confuse this. And it's got the big fancy box too, with the center tray. This center phallic-looking piece of foam covers where you would get your cables. Your cables would sit in there. I think that's it for this one. But very interesting headphone, and this is from Viewer Adel. I really appreciate them sending that in. And if you would like to send your system in, because we love looking at viewer systems, and this is a cool one. And I really want to hear this headphone. I think this probably is a pretty interesting sounding product. Here we go. So if you would like to send your viewer system in, you can send it to the directorsgarage@gmail.com. Directorsgarage@gmail.com is your one-stop shop for sending in whatever it is you're listening to right now. And we take all photos. And it's just fun. We're just here to check out what's going on, what's getting you guys, giving you guys a good night of excitement in the audio area. Very cool. Very cool. So thank you, Viewer Adel, for sending that in. Oh, I still got the photos open from last week. Boy, that was a hell of a system last week. We showed off on Friday. So cool. Very cool. So that's kind of what's going on here. Guys, if you got any questions or anything for me, go ahead and put it in the chat. I think we're going to go and check out what's new on the HeadFi's, provided that I'm still signed in. We did switch months. Sometimes it will... Oh, that's okay. We don't need to be signed in to look at this. Okay. Very cool. Okay, so we're going to go... Let's take a look at what's up for sale right now. And a friend of mine can't come over on the 4th. Damn it. Let's go take a look at what's up for sale right now on the HeadFi's, because I love doing this, checking out what other people are selling. And I've got a headphone right now that is for sale and listed, and it's the Abyss 1266 TC. Hang on, classifieds. Oh, it's not, because I'm not logged in. I can't find it. Okay, so here's what's going on. Somebody looking for a trade on a Tia U12T Here's an LCD-4Z clean for $2,200. Hey, $2,100 will get you the OG from me. Some RCA tubes, cheapo. Put on Village, I don't know anything about them. Or ATAB. Look at this headphone. This looks pretty cool. It's IEM. It's a universal with a really neat faceplate. It's kind of cross between like Nordic and Stone. Oops. Rad Zero. These were all the rage for a while. This was like the Mod House, like it was getting the same play as the Mod House. I think the Mod House has probably got a little more buzz, but cool little headphone here. Very nice. And not too bad a price on that. $1,100 bucks. $10.99 if you're nasty. Abyss Joel for sale. Here's a Joel alert, and for a good price. Brand new headphone from Abyss is already on the market. Somebody was not pleased. Or it didn't scratch whatever itch they thought they'd get to with the Joel. I think these are cool, and I would love to check these out. If the Abyss guys were watching ever, and they wanted to send this my way, I would love to check these out and review them. I do like the Abyss sound. I just think I need to make some room and get out of my 1266 universe. If I go deep enough on this, we'll probably run into my Abyss somewhere on here, but I haven't bumped it since Saturday, so it's going to be down quite a bit. I don't know if you guys have ever checked out the classifieds here on HeadFi, but like there is so much volume going through here. It's amazing. It's amazing that, you know, you can actually find what you're looking for. I mean, I guess you can search, but it's really interesting. Empire's Valkyrie Mark II. Very cool IEM. Look at that. I like the Empire stuff. Beautiful. Another big, chunky IEM from from Empire Ears. They do not make small little buds, guys. Those things are always chunky. Audio Works, Rebel amp. Anybody heard this? Anybody heard these Rebel amps before? I've seen them around. I've never heard them. They're green. That's the color is making it blue. The light's making it blue. It's a green amp. But I've heard good things about them. I've never heard them in person though. Fun stuff. Fun stuff. Flip Ears Legion. Look at these. Wow, what a headphone. That is so cool. Look at this. It's like it's got a helmet, like a medieval helmet, sort of engraved into the ear cover. Man, these things must cost a fortune. What much is he asking for them? Not bad. $725. Holy cow. That's a lot of effort in that IEM. I don't know anything about them. I just came across them. I thought they looked cool. What does it say? Reluctantly putting this in the classified original box, flawless condition. I'm the original owner. Lightly used. Insanely good bass. Without any sharpness in the treble. Mid-range enjoyable. Very nice. EU only, no trades. Guy wants cash, boys. He wants cash. Very good. Gladiator. Yeah, there you go. Like that. Great comment, JTB. Welcome. Sorry, guys, I did not announce this much. I really didn't know what I was going to do today, and with Mrs. Director having her birthday, I just had to kind of play it by ear, and then I saw a little window here. She's getting ready to go to her dance class, and I thought, I'm going to hop on, and I'm going to cook her dinner while she's at dance class. She leaves in about 40 minutes, or it starts in about 40 minutes, so I'm going to cook her dinner while she's in dance class. She'll come home to a nice warm meal. Trying to be a good husband. That's what we're doing. Anyway. Here's a Caldera closed. God, this is a great closed headphone. I was a big fan of these. If I had a lot of if I had unlimited extra funds, one of these would be in my stable. I just don't like the look of these. I would want a custom version of this. I don't like the burnt. It's just not quite working for me, looks-wise. That's just personal. That's a taste thing. Somebody's getting out of the focal business hard. We're done with focal, says this buyer, this owner. I'm selling his Azurus and Hedonus in 2 consecutive posts. Take that, Frenchman. Slap, slap. ZMF Aegis. Ooh, nice. That is a beautiful amp, guys. I reviewed this amp. I think it's gorgeous. Got any other photos? Yeah, he does. Yeah, you know he does. So sweet. The attention to detail on this amp, along with the sound quality, beautiful. Lord Glenn, so good. Lord Glenn's the guy who designed the amp, and ZMF just took his plan and put it in a pretty box, but very well executed. Look at this ATH from Audio Technics. It's got that Japanese finishing process on it. I love this. I think this is beautiful. They've got a lot of depth. It's a headphone that, like, the pictures, you know, just by looking at this, the pictures aren't doing this justice. You've got to see these in person, because the depth on the finish of this headphone is, I don't know if the headphone sounds good or not, but I know that the finish is outstanding. It's going to be next level. Haven't seen many AK3 or 2000s. I thought I'd see the 2000s and 3000s for sale because the 4000 just came out. And a lot of times you'll see, oh, here's a great, what's this one? Oh, this is the Poet. This is the new Meze that came out just a few months ago, like 2 months ago. I think it was out for New York Can Jam. And boy, they do a nice product. I have not heard these, but I've heard good things about these. I hear this is getting good reviews. Somebody's getting rid of it. $15.90, not too bad. Save yourself a few bucks. Maybe wait a little bit and that'll come down some more. Empire's Raven, $2,000. A little pricey, but it's there if you want it, boys. The Raven. I've heard this. Very nice headphone. Very nice IEM. This one impressed me. Empire said they were going to send me some stuff, but they never did. Womp womp. TF Forte, the IEM that started this channel. $1,400. Still to this day, 5-year-old headphone, $1,400. Okay. I think you're gonna have to get under the $1,000 level before somebody's gonna bite at that one. It's just too old. It's been around too much, boys. Non-stealth HE-1000 V2, that is way too expensive for that headphone. Dude, this is gonna be like $500, $600. Whoever's selling this is way too high. Just because you can get into one of these with the stealth magnets and all the great stuff that came with that next version. And this is one of my favorite headphones of all time, by the way. But you're too high. You're too close to the price of a new one with all the bells and whistles. Right? TH-X 808, 888. Yeah, 8s are wild. I don't know. Might be a little high. Or maybe the guy who put the ad in was high. I'm not sure. What else we got? Just rolling through pages. God, I love doing this, guys. I love seeing what people are selling. Here's an OG clear MG for 800 bucks. That's a little high. We've got to come down with those guys. You're selling used gear. Even if it's in premium condition, these aren't relics. This isn't collectible. These are expendable products. There's the Thieaudio Origin. Pricey for the Origin. Carbon 2, 5300. I'll have more to say about that in the coming weeks. Enjoying them. Great sounding headphone though, that's for sure. 48 years Macbeth for trade. Oh, who's trading their Macbeth? Is this Neil? Is Neil trading something else? Very good. Is this guy looking for a Macbeth? Looking to trade. Oh, he wants to trade his Macbeth for a Hercules or an Astell&Kern. Interesting trade. I always like an interesting trade. This makes me think my headphone should sell tomorrow. It's a guy selling his Abyss 1266 for $6,500. And they don't have Abyss earpads on them. Abyss earpads are part of the big value of the headphone. And he's got an aftermarket little wrapper on it. This is like all kinds of wackiness going on. He does have the JPS cable. But I'm selling the same thing with the stock headpads, the Abyss headpads, which are 400 bucks a piece. And the superconductor cable and the stand for, I think I've got it listed for 55 or 53 or something. Soul 170, 5,800. That's about right. That sounds like a fair price for that one. HoloMake KTE, these are still desirable, but I think they should start coming down to more the $4,000 level, because $5,000 will get you in a new one, kind of. Of course, with the tariffs, who knows? Is there anything else here? Any photos? Yeah, there is. Oh, back up, back up, back up. Sexy. Sexy. Copper button alert, boys. Very nice. I like the hollow look. I think they make nice gear. And I'm a big fan of the sound of that thing. Very cool. Very cool. Here's an LCD-4, 2200. That's what I'm asking for mine. Maybe I'm too high. Oh, it's the Tiger. I don't like the look of these. Not a fan of that wood. I don't like the breaks in the wood like that. Not a big fan, boys. Not a big fan. Here's an Artura OG, 1,100 bucks, a little high. Audeze LCD-R, 2,300. Is that a ribbon, really? I don't know that I was aware that that was a ribbon. Now I'm curious. Now I want to hear this headphone. Damn it. Oh, boys, I got to get a job. I want to buy these things. That's cool. Here's another Aegis for sale. 2,900. The other guy was 26. He's got some competition. Same color scheme. Very dynamic. Aurora's Aureo Borealis. So that's kind of what they sell for. I don't know. It seems a little high. IDSD DAC. Good price on that. Sapphire HE-1000 unveiled. What? Wait a second. 2,100 euro. Can that be real? This seems too good to be true. This seems like one of those too good to be true situations. There's no way. Oh, it's an HE-1000 unveiled. Never mind. I thought it was a Sapphire unveiled by looking at it. Sorry, boys. Here you go. Maskobo 465, 16 grand. You are never going to get that much out of an amp. I don't know who's selling this. But fellas, when you cut the box, you are instantly cutting a third minimum of the value of an amp. Amps will never resale for anywhere near what you pay for them if you buy them new. That is a lesson. It's an amazing piece of kit. It's a great amp, like this guy says, but OMG, you're just misguided if you honestly think that you're going to get 16 grand for a used amp. It's I would think you're going to get 12 grand for that amp. I thought it would be interesting to see what he actually sells for. Call me. Let me know when that thing sells. I guarantee you, there's nobody's going to pay that much. Because if you're going all that way, look, if you're going all that way, if you're going to go all that way, and you're going to go, I got 16 grand together. And I can get this, and I can buy this used. It's for $1,000 more. You've spent that much already. You know what I mean? You've spent that much already. Spend the extra grand at that point and get it brand new from the factory with a warranty and with all the things, and then you get to establish a relationship with the maker, and like you're going 95% of the way there. You gotta go the extra 5%. You gotta make it worth their while. If you're looking to sell an amp like that, you're gonna have to make it worth somebody's while, because if you're knocking $1,000, people who have $16,000 to drop on an amp aren't gonna give a crap about the extra $1,000. I guarantee it. Neumann NDH-20 325. I have this headphone. I would sell this headphone. It's not bad. It's a good close back, but it's more of a production headphone. It's not really a good headphone for listening to music. It's definitely more in the production lane. It would be a good amp to analyze and mix on. It is a good headphone to analyze and mix on. What else is in here? Ooh, audio WA33 standard plus lots of tubes. This will be fun just to look at. I like looking at these things. Oh, he put a plexiglass case over it. Wow. Protect those tubes. Yeah. See? You got to put a piece of glass over it, my friends. I don't know what I'm doing. Very good. Very good. WA33. It's a nice amp, man. That is a good amp. No question there. LCD-5 3300. Too expensive. That's got to be about a $2,500 headphone, boys. These guys are overpricing their products. Especially in the current economy, you will not move this headphone at $3,300. I know it's a $5,000 headphone, but I sold mine. You're looking at $2,500 valuation on that headphone. Sorry, it's just too old. Carbon 2. Somebody listened to him once and decided to sell him off, apparently. 4Z 1999, that's a good price on the 4. SRX007 Mark 1. Let's see. Ooh, these are rough. Look at the leather on them. Cups are in decent shape. Oh, the leather's rough, though. Oh, painful. My cups aren't in great condition, but they're in better shape than that. It's hard when you got a 20-year-old headphone. You're trying to find a replacement. Original, sort of pad for it. Hugo 1900. Too much. 1500, boys. 1500. A lot of stuff that's overpriced on here right now. So people have to get find Jesus and bring their used gear down to earth. '64 Audio Solo. I'm not familiar with this headphone. Anybody know this one? '64 Solo? Looks pretty. Is this an open grill, or is this just a sticker? They tend to do stickers at 64 Audio a lot, which I'm not a fan of. Hypsos, Wanla, 29, $3,000. Get no. No. Yeah, you better sell the Hypsos with it. No, no, no. No. With the Hypsos for $29.50. That's fair. That's better. Hypsos, Hypsos, Hopsos. FoKus Stellia, $16.95. That's a good price for a Stellia. I'm not a fan of the Stellia, but that's a good price for it. Here's a good price on a DCS Lena. If I wanted to complete my stack, which I won't, because I'm broke. It's the one element I'm missing. Raw requisite. No headphone, just the amp. Nice. $4,900. Is that fair? Is that a fair price? Somebody chime in. Don't all chime in at once. Noble Falcon Max. Enlium. $2,000. Not a bad price for an Enlium. 8500 3ES Elite. It's an E-stat, I think. Let's look at it. It's always fun to look at Woo stuff because it looks so... It shows so well. It's so photographic. $300B ES, electrostatic. Headphone. Last couple. And then, yeah, okay, JTB, I'll go look at your sale. I'll go back to page 1. A lot of WA33s for sale, right? Not the ES edition, right? Yeah. You're charging as much as the other guy's willing to let it go. It's an ES edition for the same price. Oh no, that's $4,500. Never mind. All right, back up. All right, I'll take that back. Viking Ragnar, $2,000. Not a bad price for a $3,000 to $4,000 IEM. Eiffel Cantor. You look at it funny and it looks like it's saying awful. It's an awful Cantor. Yes, where do you work? I work for Awful Headphones. Makes very special stuff. $3,000 for Caldera Limited. 28, guys, 28. I gotta price all this stuff. Whoa, wait a second. Riviera alert. 11.5. That's what I'm talking about. Now you've got a basically a $20,000 plus amp here, and used. Yeah, you're looking at 11.5. That's the right price for that. That's where that Mass Kobo needs to be at. That is worth it. 501 4-channel Weiss DAC? No. Way too expensive. That's the price of a new one. Great sounding DAC, but can't do that. Can't do that. This is fun stuff, man. God, boys. It's so fun. Meze Lyric. How much that Meze Lyric selling for? OG Sapphire, $3,000. Yeah, they're starting to breach the $3,000 level now. I mean, for what that headphone is, it's one of the best in the world. I'd be like, yeah, if it's under $3,000, you gotta. If you've never owned one, that's the price to jump in at. Meze Lyric 2, $1,200. Good price on that. I like the Meze Lyric 1, and here's the 2. Well, I don't have any money, boys. Where'd it go? I think it jumped. See, that's the problem with having a laptop, is it jumped. There we go. Meze 2. Show it to me. Euro. So it's a little higher in USD. Do like the cups on this. Ooh, he's got some nicks. Womp womp. Worthless. Sorry, people want unnicked headphones. Unless you're going to give me one hell of a deal. All right, let's go back to page 1 for JTB to show off his stuff. Ooh, Audema Maestro. Oh, that's the amp. Okay, never mind. Thought it was a RAW there for a second. Somebody was selling. ZMF Atrium Open. This is the pair from JTB. Let's see. What you got, JTB? What you got here? So these are the ones that are part epoxy, resin, and wood. And he fills in the missing part of the wood that is eroded away with. I like this too. I like this space age thing. Very cool. Looks like a nebula. Oh, here we go. Here's the photos. Geez, JTB, upload bigger photos, dude. Make a big deal out of it, literally. Okay, here we go. Some larger photos. Yeah, giving you the business. Very pretty, man. That's a nice product. Is that purple or is it blue? The looks like purple. Very cool. Very cool. Survey says, how much is he asking for it? Is he looking to break the bank? JTB squeezing every last dollar out of his ZMF Atrium. $3,050. It is custom. It is custom. Might be a little high though. Might be a little high. All right, JTB, you're off the hook. All right, let's go back and we got a whole bunch of JTB comments here. Put your house for sale on HeadFi. Sold. Go back to page 1. We did that. Neil is having his B21 on radar. Your seller backed out was the last I heard. Is that still the case, Neil? $18,999. Yeah, that's a deal. More than list. Good times. Stabilized. Oh, okay. And he struggled with the photos. He overprices items when he's selling, and then we negotiate for the sale price. So make me an offer I can't refuse. Is that what you're saying? Job, let's chat. I may be interested in the that's one that I'll tell you, the Atrium is one of my favorite all-around headphones. They do so much so well, and they're so pretty to look at. I'm a big fan. That was his first listing, and it was a pain in the butt. He's willing to bargain. So is this purple? Is this insert purple, by the way, JTB? Because it's striking. And not in a want to throw it down on the floor and step on it kind of striking. Very pretty. Neil will only deal with discounts, JTB, just so you know. He will only take a bargain. It's the only thing he'll do. Very fun. Well, fellas, Mrs. Director is going off to dance class, and I've got to go cook because I want her to have a nice meal for her birthday when she gets home. It has a purple vibe. Very cool, man. I like that. Yeah, so Mrs. Director, so I need to go make dinner for her. That's what I'm going to do. And then I might get a walk-in if I'm lucky while she's doing her thing. But I want to thank you guys for stopping by today. It's a lot of fun, and it's always good to see you guys. And we'll do this again next week. And I'm working on I'm starting to hone in on a script for the shootout, the big shootout between the electrostatics. And we'll have that for you before you know it. And I will see you guys. Hit the thumbs up button. Hit the thumbs up. Have a great 4th. Have a great holiday. If you got a couple of days off. If you're in Europe, I'm sorry. This is the day we celebrate telling England to, you know. We're done. But it's fun to get a couple of days off, and Mr. Director's going to be around. So we're going to go to do a ghost town. That's like one of the things we're looking forward to on this break, and we're gonna go check out. We're gonna go see some friends. We got some friends coming over on one day, and we'll just have some fun. And hopefully we get this house sold. That would be the best. That would be the best birthday gift for Mrs. Director ever. So if you want to buy the house, please make sure you send me an email at directorsgarage@gmail.com. directorsgarage@gmail.com. And you can buy, oh, by the way, the shirts are available at directorsgarage.com. And I have to get into marketing those things. I've got to start coming up with a marketing plan. I had some ideas, but I just haven't been able to execute because I've been sort of busy with other things. And I got my drone license. Don't tell anybody. I can now fly the friendly skies. All right. Cheers, everybody. Have a great weekend. And if I pop in, maybe I'll pop in another time if something exciting happens. And if not, if I say, hey, you know what? If I sell the Abyss, we'll do a live stream to say farewell to the Abyss, because it's a headphone that I really love, but it's a headphone that it makes the most sense to cut because I'm not doing the most. I'm not listening to them as much, so it's time for them to go. These, I'd be willing to talk about if somebody was interested in the LCD-4. Even I think my Mezes, the Meze Elites, I would probably even have a discussion with somebody about, because I've got to start lessening the load around here, you know what I mean? So that I can move and not have to move all these headphones, you know? So cheers, everybody. Have a great holiday. Thanks for stopping by today, and I will see you before you know it. Like how I did that?